Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Yashodanandana Prajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari
Krishna Krishna Srimati Bhakti Vedanta
Jaya Musva Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Siddhare Smada
Namaste
Bhakti
Saraswati
Saraswati Goswami Bhagavati Jaya
Sharini
Antakoti Vaishnava ki jai, Ramacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Bhog Gopinath Sam Khund Radha Khund Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Guru Dwarka Dham ki jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai, all glories to the Assembled. All glories to the Assembled. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my respectful obeisances. All glories to His confounder Acharya, His divine grace, Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Guru and Guranga. Hare Krishna Maharaj, welcome to Hare Krishna Africa. Thank you for honoring the invitation. The devotees have not joined fully because this is not the usual time, but I'm going to share on so that
I didn't know my schedule, but I'm in Dubai and they have program every night. Otherwise, it would have been at night.
Yeah, so I'm sure devotees will they will join as we go on, Maharaj.
You record, right?
Yeah, I'll do a call as the class goes on so that I can remind devotees. I'll share the YouTube so that many other devotees can join. In the interim, I'm going to put the verse on the screen and then we can start, Maharaj.
3:15:24.
Yes, Maharaj. So we can start, Maharaj.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavata Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our means of conquest, we first offer our obeisances to Narayan, the personality of Godhead, to Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Idam Bhagavatam Nama, Purana Brahma Samitam, Uttama Shloka Charitam, Shakara Bhagavan Rishi, Nishaya Sayalokasya, Swastayanam Mahat. That the Srimad Bhagavatam is the incarnation of God, it's a book incarnation. It is spoken by the incarnation of God, Srila Vyasadeva, and is all good and all auspicious and all perfect for everyone. By regular attendance in classes on the Srimad Bhagavatam, rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is inauspicious in the heart is destroyed almost to nil, and thus loving service to the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental song, comes into being as an irrevocable fact. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 15, text 24. Ye Bhyarti Tam. How do you do it? We repeat a little bit, or how should we do it? Who's there? Okay, Ye Bharti Tam Api Cha No Ni Gitam Prapana.
Ye pya titan apichano gatim praapanan.
Gyanam cha tattva vishayam sahadharmam yatra.
Jnanam cha tattva vichayam sa dharma ayatra.
Naradamam bhagavato vitarantyanusha.
Naradanam bhagavato vitaranti amosya.
Samohita vitatataya bhattamaya yate.
Samo ita vitayaya vata mayaya ate.
You want to read it? And we just go to the...
Ye brata itam apichano regatim prapanam. Jnanam chatattva visayam sahadharma ayatra. Naradanam bhagavato vitaranti amusyaha. Samo ita vitataya bhuta vayaya atehe.
Jai. Yea. Word for those persons.
Those persons.
Abhyarti tam.
Abhyati tam.
Desired. Api.
Api.
Certainly. Cha. And. Na. By us. Brahma and the other demigods. Nirgatim, in the human form of life.
Nirgatim, in the human form of life.
Prapanaha,
Not
have attained.
have attained.
Jnanam,
Jnanam,
knowledge.
knowledge.
Cha,
Ja,
and.
and
Tattva Vishayam,
Tatta Vishayam,
subject matter about the absolute truth.
subject matter about the absolute truth.
Sahadharmam,
The Adharmam,
along with religious principles.
along with religious principles.
Yatra,
Yatra,
where.
yeah,
Na,
na,
not.
not.
Aradhanam,
Aradhanam,
worship.
worship.
Bhagavata,
Bhagavata,
Supreme Personality of Godhead.
of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Vitaranti,
Vitaranti,
perform.
perform.
Amusya,
Musya,
of the Supreme Lord.
of the Supreme Lord.
Samohitaha,
Samohitaha,
being bewildered.
being bewildered.
Vitataya,
Vitataya,
all pervading.
all pervading.
Bhatta,
But
alas.
alas,
Mayaya,
Maya, ya,
by the influence of the illusory energy.
by the influence of the illusory energy.
Te,
They,
they.
they.
Translation. Lord Brahma said, my dear demigods, the human form of life is of such importance that we also desire to have such a life. For the human form, one can attain perfect religious truth and knowledge. If one is in this human form of life, does not understand the Supreme Personality and whose Godhead, it is to be understood that he is very much affected by the influence of external nature. Repeat, my dear demigods. Lord Brahma said, my dear demigods. Please repeat. Haribol.
Yes, Maharaj.
Repeat, my dear demigods.
My dear demigod,
The human form of life is of such importance.
the human form of life is
Of such importance.
Of such importance.
That we also desire to have such life.
Such that we also desire to have such life.
For in the human form, one can attain perfect religious truth and knowledge.
For in the human form, one can attain perfect religious truth and knowledge.
If one in this human form of life does not understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his abode,
if one in this human form of life does not understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his abode,
it is to be understood that he is very much affected by the influence of the external nature.
It is to be understood that he is very much affected by the influence of external nature.
Are you recording now?
Yeah, we are live, Maharaj.
Brahmaji condemns very vehemently the condition of the human being who does not take interest in the personality of Godhead and his transcendental abode Vaikuntha. The human form of life is desired even by Brahmaji. Brahma and other demigods have such better material bodies than human beings. Yet the demigods, including Brahma, nevertheless desire to attain the human form of life because it is specifically meant for the living entity who can attain transcendental knowledge and religious perfection. It is not possible to go back to Godhead in one life, but in human form, one should at least understand the goal of life and begin Krishna consciousness. It is said that the human form is a great boon because it is the most suitable boat for crossing over the nescience ocean. The spiritual master is considered to be the most able captain of that boat, and the information from the scriptures is the favorable wind for floating over the ocean of nescience. The human being who does not take advantage of all these facilities in this life is committing suicide. Therefore, one who does not begin Krishna consciousness in the human form of life loses his life to the influence of the illusory energy. Brahma regrets this situation of such a human being. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganangana Shalakaya Chaksurumilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namani. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Desatarani Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacham Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha. Namo Mahavranaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gora Tuishe Namaha. Panchatatmaka Krishna Bhukta Rupa Sarupakam Bhakta Bhataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. This is interesting. Just yesterday or the day before in Abidjan, we had a verse. Of course, many verses say similar things. In the human form of life, here I always was fascinated by this verse, that the demigods, Lord Brahma is telling the demigods that they should hanker for a human form of life. And when I was early in this Hare Krishna movement, we used to hear a lot that Prabhupada said the demigods are lining up to join this movement. You know, they can see us. We can't see them, but they can see us. And usually they lament that, you know, we're suffering so much. But when they see the Sankirtan movement, they know this, you can actually get out of the material world. So, but it's interesting that we're complaining, oh, why do I have this body? And why do I have to live in this dirty old world? And, you know, and not only we have a human form of life, but we have the greatest gift, the purpose of human form of life. We have the holy name, we have the Bhagavad Gita, we have Srila Prabhupada's everything. We have association of devotees, you know, but we may not be rich and beautiful and free from birth, death, disease, and old age in this body, but we have this opportunity that even the demigods don't have. If the demigods are lucky, and then they do make progress, but very rarely. Mostly they get too absorbed in their sense gratification. So we were reading yesterday. I mixed up days now because I traveled all night, but this is 5th Canto, Chapter 19, Text 14. Materialists are generally very attached to their present bodily comforts and the bodily comforts they expect in the future. So if there were like demigod worshippers, or just people who are making a lot of money or thinking they're going to advance, they're going to get a great wife or a great husband and a better car. And so they're thinking of what kind of material pleasures I can get in the future. Therefore, they're always absorbed in thoughts of their wives, children, and wealth, and are afraid of giving up their bodies, which are full of stool and urine, If a person is engaged in Krishna consciousness, however, is also afraid of giving up his body, what is the use of his having labored so hard to study the Shastra? It is simply a waste of time. And that verse, the last words are Shrama Eva Kevalam. Waste of time, certainly only. We have in the first canto another very similar verse. That Shrama Eva Kevalam, that if one's work is not aimed at developing love for Godhead, then his work is just a waste of time. 128, chapter 2 is full of nectar in the first canto, but Dharma Swanustita Pungsa Viswaksena Katasuya Note Padayad Yadiritim Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. If one's occupational duties, according to one's position, are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the personality of Godhead. So it has the same words. Shrama Eva, certainly. Kevalam. So the demigods, Lord Brahma, who's got the longest life and the most intelligence and is honored and has unlimited mystic power, he's thinking human life is better. Actually, that's how Haridas Thakur, Lord Brahma, begged Lord Chaitanya to let him take birth in his movement so that he could just dedicate himself to chanting the holy name. So it says, one who does not begin Krishna consciousness in this life loses his life to the influence of the Maya. Brahma is crying about that. Brahma's prayers for creative energy, he's crying how much everybody's suffering so much. And he's got the task to try to help us. And then what to speak of someone who begins Krishna consciousness and gives it up, which is, unfortunately, the great percentage. We hear, the movement's different than it was, when we joined. We're also different. That's one thing. Many things are still the same, but in the early days of ISKCON in most countries, except China, many old people joined in the beginning, not young people. But in most countries, all young people, so they're very energetic. It's a dynamic preaching energy. Everybody, believes they're going to go back to Godhead. We haven't had any problems yet. But then, material world is such a place. So doubts creep in. We have trouble. And the biggest cause of trouble is offending devotees. That's why it's called the first offense and the worst offense. We start to blame others for our trouble. We're not tattenu kampam susamik samanam, that, we go on suffering the results of our karma. We're thinking I'm suffering because of someone else. So I often remember when I was a junior high school, I think it was 8th grade. So I was just starting to have a little bit of an, thought about life, maybe, besides playing. So this John Kennedy was running for president. So I used to go downtown every day after school and call up people and pray the message from John Kennedy. The hope for the world. Is a young man. And he had a lot of good ideas and he tried to do a lot of good things, so they killed him. But his speech when he got elected is what everybody remembers. And I used to quote it all the time when I was on radio in West Africa, when they'd ask for a message for the people. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. So ask not what God can do for you. Ask not what ISKCON can do for you. What can you do for it? It's, you know, you all know Charlie Boy, I think. He told me once he'd made a new record, new recordings. And I said, what do you sing about? He said, I just complain about my country. I said, anyone can do that. Why don't you talk about something good? But his identity is to complain very expertly, very, and blame everybody else for all the trouble. But then what are you doing to change it? He's tried a little bit, but, in ISKCON now, in the early days, we didn't have any complainers. If you complained or didn't agree, you were out, kicked out of the temple, but now they're all over the place and they're all over the internet, just complain. This is wrong. And it doesn't help anybody. It's Maya's trick. That's Kali's work. Kali, it means quarrel. He's trying to get all the devotees to fight amongst themselves over, anything and everything. So we have to be strong, have faith. And, so we're preaching Srimad Bhagavatam. This is great. We have this class, a lot of very good speakers. And I hope more and more devotees are listening to it. I just traveled around in West Africa. Many things are, it's very difficult for a puffed up, rich kid like me coming from America, growing up with a dishwasher and a garbage disposal and 2 cars and, on and on and on. So to just deal with the infrastructure even. And then the standards of the devotees, deity worship, no money and, all these things. But I'm amazed at how much the devotees love to chant. And that's what we're, that's the whole purpose of our chanting, to get more chanting. You see the children in Benin, every day a whole group of children would come up, and so I just say kirtan and they just go get the drum and the mridang, the kartals and the harmonium and chant as long as I would sit there. It's very enlivening. They all go out for Harinam and they're all happy. So we have to try to increase the good things that are going on. One thing I was happy in Kumasi is that he records Mangalarti. He broadcasts Mangalarti every morning. That's a very easy thing to do. Most temples do that, because not everybody can travel to go to the temple at 4:30 in the morning. But some people are in their car or driving to work at that time, but they can tune in. And then he also broadcasts the Bhagavatam class, which many temples, but it's the only one I saw in West Africa. In Accra, I saw one devotee. I said, what do you do with it? He said, well, I put it on my Facebook. But his Facebook is not something that many people are looking at. Nobody's looking for his name, when they're looking for Hare Krishna online. Sulochan Prabhu, he puts his Bhagavatam class in Mangalartik online. He gets, I think, 30, 40 people. That's pretty good. We can't get that many people coming to the temple. So we have to try to look for good, or try to think of what can be done and do it. Take care of something. Fix it. If you see something's broken, fix it. Don't complain about it being broken. Get it fixed. So take advantage, how much do we thank every morning, Krishna? I'm so fortunate that I have this body, this human body that's full of miseries, enough so that I can realize, I've got to get out of here. I want to know the soul. I want to know about God. I want to know what's going to be next. Thank Krishna for this opportunity, and what to speak of what the opportunity that we have, that we're hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day. We have Krishna is appearing in the deity form for all of us. Krishna is appearing in the form of the holy name, the most merciful incarnation. And people are out there, they want books. Somebody really dedicated. We have a mediator, and it's Keshav and his wife, and they're foreign. And we can say, okay, well, they have money, but why do they have money? Is because they go to America, they go to Canada, and he works really hard for 3 months a year, so he can afford to live in Africa and distribute books. It's not like it's just falling out of the sky, because he wants. But people are buying from, especially the Mataji, sometimes 5 books, 10 books, 11 books, 6 books, and giving, reasonable and enough to pay for the books, sometimes more, and calling up, contacting them for more information. So to think, get online, like here we're online, so anybody can find it. Anybody can tune in and find out the value of this human form of life. And the incarnation of the age, Kali Rupa Nama Avatar. The avatar for this age is the holy name. And the only religious principle is Vaishnava religious principles in this day and age. So it's just inconceivable mercy that we have. And the chance to spread the holy name is even better, because Krishna says in the end of Bhagavad Gita that no one is more dear to me than someone who's trying to teach this message to the devotees, nor will there ever be anybody more dear than one who studies this sacred conversation of ours, worships me with his intelligence. Intelligence is the finest, almost spiritual. So that's the topmost, best way to worship Krishna, by hearing Bhagavad Gita, chanting the holy name. You don't have to be rich. It doesn't take a lot of money to stand out on the street and chant Hare Krishna. Somebody will hear it. And whether they respond or not on the spot, the soul hears it, the spiritual body hears it, and they make benefit. And we get benefit because it makes Krishna happy. So, Prabhupada made it simple: rise early, go to Mangalarti, chant. And even now the materialistic businessmen are advocating. One of the most popular books is called the 5 a.m. Club. Get up at 5 o'clock, work out, exercise for a half hour really heavy, take a bath, meditate, read something, eat light, get to work. They call it the morning program. So I figure they're being influenced by Prabhupada. Morning program, morning worship program. Nowadays, program to me doesn't sound very good, because we have computer programs, programming, deprogramming, so we should talk about our worship ceremonies, or, sacred dance, sacred chant, sacred songs and dance, early morning worship, something that will attract people, that we can all relate to. Nowadays, the way many words that used to have a good meaning now have a bad connotation. So we have to change the way how we use words, right? Like cult. Cult used to be good. Cult just means culture. People who share a common culture. Culture club. Now cult means something, demoniac, some kind of devil worship, all kinds of ideas people have. So we don't want to use that word. We can use culture. And some devotees are finding ways to reach out. Ganachuk Shush had a class called mysticism or something, and he talked about mantras and chanting, and 650 some people ordered japa beads, and they want to chant japa. So nobody, that's pretty far out. Then in Lome, there's one devotee, Haridas. He's got a club, I don't remember the name, Culture, Tradition, something like that. And he's engaging people in sattvic things and bringing them to Krishna consciousness. I went there, we had a class, on spiritual and versus material or something. And yeah, I didn't know for sure, between 50 and 100 people, all very nice, people, very happy. They all dressed up, very attentive. I saw many bought the Srimad Bhagavatam when they left. And, devotees are finding ways. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was a great innovator, and he was criticized a lot. Now he's praised for the same things he was criticized for, because people, takes a while for the dull-headed people to wake up and appreciate a genius. Van Gogh didn't sell any paintings in his life, except one. His brother bought one. But then after he died, his wife found a way to market his paintings, along with the letter he wrote to explain it. All of a sudden, they're selling for $50 million. So, we don't know. Many of the younger generation, like children of my children age, that age, they're now 40s and 50s. They have very big preaching, big kirtan followers, all kinds of clever classes, explaining Bhagavad Gita in so many different ways. And we have all these Bhakti Shastra and Bhakti Vaibhav and what's the other one, different systems where devotees get together and just study to learn scripture so they can spread it. And if we don't know it, we can still spread it by just offering books to people and just reading from the book. There's unlimited nectar in all these books. But when we read, if we're not reading them, if we're spending our time to find out what's going on in the world, what's the latest politics, what's wrong in ISKCON, who's falling down over here and who's doing this, and and then we're not going to be enthusiastic to preach. I remember I was one devotee in Nigeria. He had a lot of money, and he was asking me what to do. I said, you should advertise like people do. Put big banners across the highway, Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. And he said, no, we can't do that until we have a big fancy temple, until we have all this stuff. How are we going to get that stuff if we don't advertise? We don't spread the holy name. We don't rack our brain. The best way to control the mind is to think how to spread the holy name. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he quoted somebody, he said, early to bed and early to rise. That's a famous saying from Benjamin Franklin, the $100 bill guy from America. Early to bed, he said, early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. So he understood, that's what all monks in the world, they go to bed early, they get up early. They weren't all night on internet or anything. And then, but he said, early to bed, early to rise, work like hell, and advertise. Because even if we have the best product in the universe, if nobody knows about it, nobody's going to buy it. If we're not out there promoting it, if we're not putting it in front of everybody all the time. Because That's how people get to know us. And many people do know Hare Krishna now, even in Africa. And people who even appreciate, they get the same benefit as the preacher. So we should be thankful that we have this human form of life, and don't blow it, don't waste it. Why do we give up chanting? Why do we lose enthusiasm? Because we're not developing a relationship with Krishna. This is not only, we're saying that. Now I see the Jehovah's Witness and media, they're out on the street a lot. And their magazines are worth reading sometime. I saw one of them, it was in Japan, and it said, Kame sama wa go shushujin. I can't remember the Japanese exactly, but is God a person? That was a lead article in their magazine. Is God a person? And they're talking, you can talk to God, you can be with God. Everybody wants that. The holy name is Krishna. When we're chanting, we're with Krishna. That's Krishna. He's right there, dancing on our tongue, of all places. And there's a very beautiful prayer by Rupa Goswami. And I heard a class recently, I think it was Radhanath Swami. Somebody was quoting him, talking about this same concept. Kaliya mind, he says, Kamam dodamada mama mana panaga baboga. O Lord Krishna, with its crooked motions and the sharp fangs of its wicked desires, the great snake of my mind torments the entire world. O all-powerful Lord, O crusher of Kaliya, please punish that snake with your dancing. Please place on it the mark of your lotus feet. That's a very favorite prayer of mine. I never memorized the Sanskrit. It's very high level Sanskrit. But comparing, our mind is like the Kaliya, and Krishna is dancing. The mind has millions of different. Kaliya had 100, he had 1,000 hoods, and 100 of them were especially poisonous. And with those 100, he's trying to attack Krishna. He's attacking from all sides. But Krishna is just dancing away and having a good time, playing his flute, entertaining the Brijbasis, and at the same time knocking all the poison out of Kaliya. So that's Krishna's dancing on our poisonous tongue. The snake has split tongue, right? The American native people, they used to say, be careful of white man. He speak with forked tongue. He's a snake. He's going to bite you. He's going to sneak up on you and bite your foot. You don't hear him coming. So look out. They're going to take away your land. So we have to understand that. We're very fortunate. Why would Krishna, the mouth is the dirtiest place in the body. It's the most germs, but Krishna will come and dance. So we shouldn't think I am chanting. We should think Krishna is dancing on my tongue, and it's such mercy. Let me think of that. Let me, beg him, please kick out all this criticism, kick out this envy. We had very good radio program in Kumasi and Benin. Benin was very good. I think that was put up on even Tribhuvanath, my mentor. He said it was good. I heard Panchagoda speaking on this platform the other day, saying what an amazing preacher Tribhuvanath is. He's up at 2:00 every morning, and he's dressing Lord Nityananda, I think, and he's working on the altar. He's also there at night, and he goes out and he just walks into any kind of university and finds somebody and arranges programs. He's got friends all over the place, all over that area, all the way to Mathura, way down towards Delhi, in so many universities. People love him. And I think the chief of police son is in his drug rehabilitation program. You know, he's a very great representative of your country, and you're very fortunate. He's coming to Nigeria in a few days, next week, 15th. So, you know, let's get Krishna dancing on everybody's heads. You know, when people see us dancing, that's what really attracts people. When we look at them, we look them in the eye, we smile at them. You know, the other day we were chanting in a busy highway road in Abidjan, and they're building a flyover, really long one, and way up high. And so there was one worker up there, and I saw he's just standing there like leaning on the railing. So I figured he's looking at us, because from the kirtan up high is more loud than on the ground. And so I waved at him and he waved back. Then another guy was working on the same job, but on the ground across the street, this busy street, and he was leaning on the fence saying, please come here, because he wanted a book. We couldn't get to the guy on the top. It was like a 1 kilometer walk to go to the other end of the bridge and walk up there. Couldn't throw a book up there. It's like a couple stories high, like 20, 30 meters high. But, people, it's Manusyanam sahasreshu kaschid yadadi siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatpata. Not everybody's going to take it right away, but something's happening. And unfortunately, in the Bible, it says many are called, but few are chosen. Many come to Krishna consciousness, they give it up. Many people do like a marathon for 1 year, chant 16 rounds, read the books, pass the test, and they get initiated. And a year later, they say, well, I don't have time to chant now. I can't chant. My work, my baby, my this, my that. These things happen because we haven't developed a relation. We haven't developed dependence on Krishna. If we're dependent on Krishna, he'll always help us one way or another. Sometimes his mercy is not. I remember one time I had a boil. I don't know if you ever had a boil. It was kind of an epidemic back in the 70s in ISKCON. Very, very painful. And this one was on my leg, and if I joined the kirtan, if somebody bumped into it, I'd just like practically pass out from pain. And then somebody told me, Prabhupada said, boil is mercy. It's so painful, it's special mercy. And I was thinking, I don't want this mercy. I want to go and distribute books and be a hero, but I can't walk. How can this be mercy? Then I was reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it said, because I'm full of envy, I have boils on my body. So then I realized I'm so envious of devotees who are preaching better than me and distributing more books and can sing better, whatever they do better, everything. That I was so envious. So I tried to realize that, and then the boils went away. But, that's life. So we had this special gift. Please take it. Krishna's somehow given us this human form of life after we don't know how many, we often say we've been through all the 8,400,000 species. Many of them it's only for an instant, and we've been demigods, we've been up, we've been down, now we've made it, and take it, just take it. Peace formula, just take it, So where else? We had a good radio show in Abidjan also. The presenter seemed to be quite good friends with Shardesha Maharaj. But he really liked, they like to hear it. One guy, he's really friends with Chaitanya Bhagavat and Kumasi. In fact, he talked, so he told me, I have a lot of questions I want to ask you. So we came back the next day. But he got all enlivened. He asked me something, how do you get people to convert or join? And I said, we're not trying to get people to convert to become Hare Krishnas, whatever that is. We're just trying to get people to understand that, the laws of God and how to serve God. And he got so excited, he just turned away and faced his audience and just started preaching like anything, how wonderful it is that the Hare Krishnas, appreciate other religions. And I've heard that all over there, that many people appreciate the devotees because they're not saying everyone else is bad. We're trying to find the good and the common ground. Everybody wants to love God, and there's only one God. He has many, many names. Chant some name of God. If you have one you like, chant it. If you don't, try this one. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama,
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 Hare.
Hari Hari.
So it's a very simple thing, right? It's not complicated. One marathon, my godbrother Suradas Prabhu, we made a song, the December marathon, so that it's Krishna, Krishna's Christmas. Chant your rounds, take prasad, read a verse a day. If you do it faithfully, then Maya will stay away. Hey, chant your rounds, read a verse a day. If you do it faithfully, Maya will stay away. So it's not complicated. And love devotees, serve devotees. How can I serve my guru? Serve the devotees. How can I serve Krishna? Serve your guru. Have faith. This is stressed, and Jesus stressed so much faith. Everybody has faith. You have to have faith. Then you'll keep going. And how do we get faith? By practicing. All right. So we don't have a big crowd. Hari Chakra. I saw him in Mayapur with his family. Somehow he was very friendly to me. I was shocked. But and he'd been to Govardhan Eco Village. So now he wants to make one in America. There's actually a group of devotees in Tennessee. They're talking about making an eco village. It's very expensive in Kali Yuga to make a self-sustaining farm community.
Exactly.
And I saw in Govardhan Eco Village, of course, for years they were just a few devotees farming. But then when they started to grow, and you have to, they built guest houses, but they made all the bricks themselves, all the blocks out of local mud, one at a time, just like these brick factories in Ghana and Nigeria. They pour it in, they put it in the machine, they take it out, and they built beautiful buildings. And it's just the local mud and 10% cement in there. But then they have to make roads, and they had to dig out their lake to get more water. They have a backhoe, a big backhoe, and they had to use bulldozers and, but they're also growing so much food. They're recycling all their sewage. But it takes, a lot of people, a lot of work, a lot of cooperation. But nothing started big, all the big companies started, there's always something coming on the internet, how, Apple started in the garage. And actually one of our biggest temples in Delhi, Punjabi Bagh, they had a quite big temple, and they had a lot big building and big property. because it got donated. And now they're building a really big temple. They tore down everything, building a really big temple and all facilities. But I remember when that temple started, it was in the car park. You know, they had one garage to park the car in to protect it from the weather. And that they put the deities in one end and they had the temple there. And that's how they started. Now they're, during the construction of the temple, they rented out a whole apartment building, 6 lakhs a month, $7,000 or $8,000 a month. So all the devotees can live there. And they're a medium temple because they have only 40 brahmachari. Medium temple. You know, in Japan, we have one brahmachari, and now he's 65 years old with cerebral with Parkinson's disease. In Ghana, we have a few brahmacharis. In Africa, we have very good brahmacharis that are, you know, highly respected all over the world for their preaching. We have Bhakti Shastra, Bhakti Vaibhav teachers, Shivas Prabhu. So look for the good, look up, contribute, think, what can I do to spread Krishna consciousness? Right? Use the social media for that purpose. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sri Bhuvanath's still there? He was there. He is. I don't know what is this, Vanata Das, but Ramchandra from Accra. Jai Tribu. You want to give us some words of wisdom? You have to unmute.
Tribuna Prabhu, can you unmute?
Is that him? Vanat Das Hari. And somebody else maybe.
Yeah. Yes, Tribhuvanat Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, there.
Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, I said you have said everything that the ears need to hear. So I don't think there is something to add to it. Just to take it and work on it. You said it all, Guru Maharaj. I pray that we'll be able to make use of this wisdom. It's a very practical wisdom and very heartwarming wisdom you have passed through, this medium. Indeed, from my side, I'm grateful. I'm very fortunate to be in this forum today, hearing you. It's a very enlivening moment for me. I'm really thankful to you, Guru Maharaj. But there is this slogan that I often quote from you. Just you mentioned it again today. Don't ask what your country will do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. I was thinking it's more like a Abanetica in the sense that there is no individual without a country, and there is no country without individual. So can it be seen from one angle, not seen from the other angle? So just a clarification on that.
Right. But it's the mode of goodness. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, the mode of goodness is not expecting anything in return.
Oh, good.
Right? Mode of passion is, what will I get out of this? How will I benefit? I will help you, but what will I get from it? And so that's the basic idea. But I recently just listened to that talk of that particular section. And right after that, because at that time, that was 1960 something, early 60s. And America was on top of the world, and supposedly, and, at that time, they were still doing a lot of charity work instead of bombing everybody. And he also said, and all the international other countries are here. Don't ask what America can do for you. Ask what you can do for the world, So But don't ask what Krishna can do for you. Don't ask what ISKCON can do for you. How can I live comfortably? You know, what little bit of work can I get away with and still live in the temple? You know, nowadays, not so many people want to live in the temple because it's not a rich place anymore. That's why Krishna took away the wealth, you know. But
Hare Krishna.
everywhere different problems come up. And if we depend on Krishna and we just keep moving through the storm, you know. All right.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Guru Maharaj, you know, just to have a little accurate, sometimes we see Srila Prabhupada would say that I make your good fortune. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada say this from some tapes, from some recording. I make you all good fortune. But at the same time, he also reverse. You all are my father. You are helping me so much, like a kind of a reverser. So in that case, is there any balance to understand that?
All right. Okay. So thank you very much. For whoever,
Yeah, Maharaj, Tribhuvan Prabhu is asking a question.
just a minute. I couldn't hear because the siren is going by. All right.
Tribhuvan Prabhu, can you repeat?
Who's asking?
Yeah, Tribhuvan
Hare
Prabhu was
Krishna.
asking.
No, Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I don't know if they tune the
Okay, now I
sound.
can hear you.
Yeah, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, it's just an appreciation. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Okay. Dear devotee, anyone still has a question?
Amsaduta.
Yeah,
Right.
Mr. Dude.
Where are you?
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, please can you accept my respectful obeisances?
Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in New Vrindavan.
New Vrindavan.
Yes, Maharaj.
And they back in the USA.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah,
But
Maharaj,
it ain't what it used to be. But it's not bad, but it's not what it used to be.
Yes.
When they first went there were a lot of devotees, and they were farming every bit of land that they could manage to farm on, using horses and bullocks.
Yes.
Now it's a tourist place, and not only Indians, and so many tourists are coming every day. So it's a different kind of preaching now.
Yes.
But it's affecting so many people.
So Maharaj,
go
ahead. So Maharaj, the question I want to ask is that, like you are saying, when they used to use a bush to do farming and everything, I met one Mataji some few days ago, and she have a problem with her spine because she cannot carry anything, because she was the early people who were living in New Vrindavan, and he said the heart she was living, she cannot stand straight. So all the time she has to bend down, and she has a problem with her spine now. But now the accommodation, everything is perfect. So you say something like the fortune is not there anymore in the community. So can you explain it a little bit further for me to understand? Because now I think this is the time people has to be more appreciated and live comfortable and do the service. But like you said, a lot of people have moved out where the accommodation and everything is more comfortable. So can you explain to me to understand that? Because sometimes I get a little bit confused that why is it that now everything is arranged like accommodation and everything, and where it was so difficult to live, people were living there. But now that they will have everything, uh, everything available, people are moving out.
Yeah, there's so many, everybody's reasons are different, you know. Like those early days of New Vrindavan, that was the early days of ISKCON in America. And all the devotees came from very comfortable homes. Like I just said, I grew up with things I don't think they even have yet in West Africa. We had a garbage grinder. You just throw all your junk down the drain and it grinds it up. Dishwasher, clothes washer, clothes dryer, 2 cars, and I didn't like it. I didn't want it. I was living in a Volkswagen van with a dog and a wife and a child. I thought that I didn't want that. And that was everybody. But sometimes we want to go back to it. And you get older, if you get family, then you can't live like that anymore. Of course, spinal problems, back problems, is the main cause of hospitalization in America is back problems. So there's so many advertisements to cure back pain. So, there's many factors, but that woman is still there. She's still being a devotee. So Prabhupada didn't want everyone to, to live on the street, and freezing cold and all that. We have to be comfortable, but not luxurious. That's where we have to be careful. If we want to live like demigods, Krishna's not going to give us that. So then some devotees, they go to think, well, maybe I should worship some demigod, or I should, do some other something to get money. No. But we get what we deserve. We get what our karma is.
Mm-hmm.
But if devotees are leaving Krishna consciousness and giving up chanting, that's a whole nother issue. If they're just, like many devotees in America, most of our temples are in the city. City life is not easy. Also, many of our temples, the neighborhood has become a super expensive areas.
Yes.
Even the Indians can't afford to live nearby the temple. Everything, the cost goes up and up and up. Like, so even Brooklyn, when the devotees moved to Brooklyn, it was people that lived in New Jersey. If you mentioned Brooklyn, they were afraid. They didn't want to go there,
Mm-hmm.
And now it's called New Manhattan, and the apartment buildings within, around the block from the temple, a simple apartment is starting at $900,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's another world. So not very many devotees can afford to live nearby.
Mm-hmm.
London also, everywhere. Los Angeles, it was a broken down neighborhood when the devotees got that temple. Now it's like $1 million for a small house. So people have to move. They can't afford to live with a family nearby the temple. So that's why we encourage everybody, preach on your own. You know,
Mhm.
do something. We need 1,000,000 temples. We need hundreds. We need so many temples. When I drive around Africa, I see this Deeper Life Church everywhere, signboards. So I'm waiting to see when we see Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So
Yes.
Hare Krishna this way. And it doesn't have to be a big fancy place, just a place where devotees can meet. And the TV show, or the radio program in I think it was Benin. Right towards the end of when we were speaking, Yadanath gave his phone number. And while I was still speaking, the guy called. And it was great. You people are talking so nicely. It's so truthful. It's so straightforward. I love it. So, you know, we have to follow up, though. We have to keep fishing because it's Musanam Sahasrisam. All right?
Yes,
Hare
thank you.
Hare Krishna, I have a question, Maharaj. I'm sorry to Prabhu. I hope you're done with your question, right? I'm not
Yes,
interrupting.
yes, yes. I'm done with the question. But this Mataji who have the back problem, she's still a devotee, but she's living in the city. Here in Mansville, she's still a devotee. She has his house. She has not left the
Yeah,
move.
well, she must be 70, 80 years old also. Right?
She's not old like that, but she's old but not old. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to clear, that she's still in the movement. And she has a very nice altar in her house. Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Many people are still practicing very much, but they're private type people,
Yes.
you know, or they just have to work so much just to live. But they're still serious devotees, and some are preaching really big, and we don't know about it because they're just doing it online or something. And it may be a little, you know, called bridge preaching.
So thank you, Maharaj.
Okay,
Hare.
Sally.
Yes, Maharaj, I wanted to ask a question. Thank you very much for the class, Maharaj. You presented the verse in such a way that it became so simple to understand. And it brings me also to remember that Srila Prabhupada made this movement so simple. And it's just based on chanting the holy name. And by chanting the holy name, we attract people because we ourselves will become purified. But there is a trend in West African region now, which is of a concern to many devotees. And I would like to hear what's your opinion on this. In the name of trying to attract people to Hare Krishna movement, there are several devotees in West Africa now who are taken to the path of mysticism, voodoos, and all kinds of things in the name of trying to attract. And when you ask, their response is that not everybody wants philosophy. There are 4 classes of people. So there are some people who are, there are some people that are interested in some material things. There are some people that are interested in material things. So we have to give them some of these things so that when they come, then they can get Krishna. So, but in your lecture, you presented that we just needed to chant the holy name and spread the holy name by just chanting the holy name, advertise the holy name. But how do I understand this mood of these devotees?
I think they're trying to attract people to themselves. It's unfortunate. Krishna means all attractive. So we need to present chanting in a very nice way and not pushy, but you know, we have to be examples. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj used that term, walk your talk. Right? So this is not everywhere devotees get into different things. But they find, like, say, not everywhere, but say you're teaching yoga because people want yoga, but then they come, but then they want yoga. They don't come for Krishna. But sometimes they do. If a devotee, the teacher is a real devotee and he makes them understand. But yoga, bhakti yoga, there's different levels of coming to samadhi. So, like, what is in Japan, the Buddhist temples and the Christian preachers, I'll make you rich, Sai Baba, I'll make you rich. Come to me and you'll get rich, you'll get so much money in the name of Jesus. But they never give Jesus, they never give Buddha. They say they're going to bring people in by offering that. But then if they don't get the money, they're not going to be happy with you. And if they get it, they might not be happy with the money either. But Prabhupada, it was unadulterated. Like in India, they say 65% of the food is adulterated. It's mixed with so many other things. It's not what they say it is. So unadulterated, unalloyed steel. Prabhupada stressed all those kind of things. Keep it simple, stupid. This is a business principle called the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. Because not so many people. We'd rather have a few good people who are very serious about Krishna consciousness than a big number of people who want all kinds of sense gratification and mystic power and want to curse people or whatever, people.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
And, like Prabhupada said, if you're sick, you can go to the doctor. Right?
Exactly.
You don't have to come to Krishna to get that. But like you're preaching, I see you go with tilak, you look like a devotee, you're giving people Bhagavad Gita. So, but it's not like you're doing an old-fashioned Harinam or something to do that. You're dealing with a different class of people. Sri Bhuvanath is, reaching so many people. When he comes, you should, ask him. Somebody should become his disciple to learn how to do what he's doing. Because when he comes to Nigeria, he does the same thing. He goes out, he goes to some university, he gets 50 people to come to the temple or something for a program, thinks of some clever name for the program, but it's all kirtan and Bhagavad Gita, and giving everybody books and prasadam. Can be done.
Thank you very much.
Okay. It's all right.
Thank you very much. So there are no other questions from the devotees.
Yeah.
We want to express a deep appreciation to Maharaj for giving us his association and then being with us. We pray that we might be able to follow all of the instructions given. Thank you
Just
very
keep
much,
reading.
Maharaj.
This verse, I remember how many times I've mentioned this verse without knowing exactly what verse it was. I just knew that Lord Brahma said that the human form of life is the best body in the whole universe. It's really an amazing thing to think about it.
Thank you, Maharaj.
All right.
All right, so we request all of the devotees to please kindly unmute. Let us loudly chant a loud Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to appreciate Maharaj for giving us his Sangha.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
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 Ivacha,
Hare Hare,
Vaishnavibhyo Namo Maha.
His Holiness Kapitendra Swami Maharaj ki
Jai.
jai. His co-founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai. Our glory is to assemble devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
African platform Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai.